Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Addicted to Gear. I'm Tony and I'm addicted just like you. Thank you for joining me. Now today's Sunday. Usually Sunday is my mellow day. I like to take it easy on Sunday and just kick back with some coffee and turn on the computer and just do some reading and catching up on all the latest trends and announcements and gear that's coming out. There's a lot of stuff happening. We're getting close to that season now. You know, the Black Friday is around the corner. There's Christmas, there's Winter NAMM coming. So typically companies tend to trickle out some rumors about what's going on and what they're going to be releasing. So I like to catch up and do some reading so I can present some of that information right here for you guys. Now, there's been something that I have been noticing recently in terms of rumors that has got me worried. I'm going to be quite honest, because apparently Eddie Van Halen is not doing well health-wise. And Eddie, to me, is one of the rock gods, and I think for a lot of people. Eddie is the guy who basically, I guess it was Eddie and Jimmy Page, of course. But, you know, Eddie is the guy that convinced me to start playing guitar when I was in high school. He just blew my socks off. And to me, Van Halen, that Van Halen 1 album is what rock and roll is. Attitude, tone, crazy licks, you know, basically sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that, you know, is basically rolled up in Van Halen 1. And that is the album that basically convinced me that I need to learn how to play the guitar and quick. When I heard Eruption for the first time, it just, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The sound of that particular song and the way the guitar sounded. I didn't know that a guitar could sound like that, with the dive bombs and the squealing and the fast picking and those crazy two-handed tapping techniques. I mean, what the heck was that? You know, till that point, nobody was doing that kind of stuff. And Eddie just made everybody stand up and listen and changed the face of rock and roll from that point on. And, you know, his technique and his playing style and flamboyance was, you know, being copied by all the big hair 80s bands after that, trying to get that Van Halen tone and flash and technique and everything. And, you know, to me, Eddie was really a pioneer in many ways, not just his playing technique, but the sound, you know, that reverb in the back. If you listen to the early Van Halen albums, you hear that reverb that just makes everything sound big. The brown sound, the stuff that he was doing with his amplifier, with the Variac, and just like, who thinks of that stuff? How do you come up with that stuff? I mean, honestly, Variac. I don't even know what a Variac is today. He took it and basically starved his amplifier of the appropriate current that it needed so that it could sound like it was breaking up at lower volumes, because everyone knows that a Marshall is extremely loud. So he came up with very innovative ways of getting the tone that he was after. And he was a master at that, and he still is today. Some of the major advances that we have in guitars came about from Eddie Van Halen. And if you look at his Frankenstrat, for example, you'll see that, you know, it's basically a mishmash. I mean, that Frankenstrat guitar is iconic. I mean, as soon as you see the red, black, and white stripes, you know it's Eddie, right? That's his trademark. And he put together that guitar from parts. Maybe some people don't realize that, but it's a parts caster. You know, he put it together and he built it himself to accommodate his playing style and what he was after in terms of guitar tone and feel, I guess. And he basically took that guitar and tried to mash up a Gibson and a Fender. But, I mean, if you look at it, if somebody were to offer you that guitar, not knowing that it's, you know, Eddie Van Halen's guitar, if I were to build a guitar like that and try to sell it to you, you would probably say, I don't want it. It's garbage. You know, how did you come up with this piece of shit? But Eddie made it work, and he used that guitar for a long time. And although it looked like it's basically a mishmash of a train wreck and a masterpiece, because in his hands it just works, you know, and he was able to squeeze every last drop, every last ounce of tone out of that guitar. And I don't know if it's the guitar or his hands or a combination of both, but that combination definitely worked for him. And I want to follow up this video, not to go off on a tangent here, but I want to create another video for you guys, specifically talking about that Frankenstrat, because there's so much that went into that guitar, and a lot of you might not realize, how it came about, how it evolved, why certain things were done to that guitar or used on that guitar, and how Eddie came up with these crazy ideas, So I think it's well worth having a follow-up based on that. And I think a lot of you guys could learn a couple of things that you might not have already known about that particular guitar. So without going into too much of a tangent, basically Eddie's not doing well. His tongue cancer, I guess, is spread to his throat. And so now he's been doing treatments, apparently, in Germany for the last 5 years, where he's going and get radiation therapy to be able to get these cancer cells under control. And anybody who's dealt with cancer knows that it's a serious matter. Cancer is not an easy thing to get under control, and if it's spreading to other parts of your body, it definitely is serious. We know that Eddie had a third of his tongue removed when he had tongue cancer, and at that point we all felt that it was under control, and it would be a clean bill of health for him moving forward. He seemed to be in good health. He seemed to be in good shape. But unfortunately, the news today is that it's not the case, and he's actually struggling with another bout of cancer. So I want to say, if Eddie's watching this video, I want to say, Eddie, we're all here. We're backing you up on this. We're sending you good vibes. Stay positive. You beat it the first time. You can beat it again. We would hate for anything to happen to you. You're the man. You're the guy who encouraged so many millions of young people, including me, to pick up the guitar and start learning how to play. And we owe you big time for just convincing us that we can do it. And learning about a hobby that becomes a passion, that becomes an obsession, and that's why we're here today. So for me, Eddie, you're the man. You will always be the man, and I really appreciate the fact that you've blessed us with such great music over the years. So I encourage everyone out there to send Eddie some positive messages, either on his website or on his tweets or on his Facebook postings that he does from time to time. Let him know you're thinking about him. Let him know that we all want him to get better and we're all here for him. I think those positive messages go a long way when somebody's suffering from a terrible disease such as cancer or other things. But he's come through in the past. He's struggled with substance abuse. He's been clean for a long time. He checked himself into rehab and he got healthier after his divorce. He's had hip replacement. I mean, the guy's pushing 65. He's not a spring chicken anymore. And unfortunately, when you get older, you sometimes have to deal with these life challenges. And I know he's a trooper and he's a strong guy, and the music drives him, and I'm sure he wants to get back on stage as soon as possible and play his guitar under the spotlights. And they were scheduled to play in Vegas, Van Halen was. They had a deal, I guess, with a casino there to be the house band and have a run in Vegas. And that would have been really amazing to go down and catch Van Halen with the original lineup. But it's been postponed, maybe canceled. I'm not really sure. There's not a whole lot of details yet on that. And I guess it's a wait and see situation to see how he's doing and how well he'll progress with his treatments. And hopefully we'll get some positive news about Eddie in the near future. So that's it for today. I just wanted to update all the Van Halen fans out there and just tell you what's going on in case you don't already know. And hopefully we'll hear some positive news very, very shortly from Van Halen and his people. So that's it for today, guys. I didn't want to leave it on a sour note, so I want to just say thank you for watching. You're really helping make this channel a big success. If you like the information that I'm presenting here, along with the gear reviews, the news and whatnot, and the occasional funny postings that I do, please give me a thumbs up. You're the reason why I do this, and it encourages me to move forward and produce more content for you. If you haven't already subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the little bell icon and you'll be notified whenever I post some other great videos. That's it. Nothing complicated. Just click the little icon and subscribe, and that's it. So thank you for tuning in today. As I always say, guys, stay tuned, keep rocking, and there'll be more great videos coming your way right here on Addicted to Gear. See you soon.